So again, welcome everybody to Convening 3 for 17 million strong Kenya campaign. And I know today is a really, really hectic day. We might not just have the numbers because people are still in the morning mood. And to get us started, probably let us take just 30 seconds to 30 seconds moment of silence as we just reflect the activities for the week. And then we can start with the question on the screen. So 30 seconds, my friend. Sylvester, welcome. We're just starting this conversation with the lessons for the week. And today, probably members are not just going to tune in based on the situation and what people are going through this week. So for me, it has been a really, really overwhelming week, learning about the leaders, learning about what they said before, what they are saying now, and their promises, and what they are looking to do in future. So my lessons has been, I will highlight probably two, bit about consistency, their consistency in their engagement. Not sure if you guys again can still hear me. The level of integrity and commitment towards what Kenya actually needs. And I've been watching a bit about clips to compare videos on what they stood for before or during those past campaigns, what they were saying during the gathering this week, and just looking around that. And I'm just saying, Kenyans can be really, really united. And people actually really know the values that they actually need in the leadership or in the governance of this particular country. I would really love to hear your thoughts. What has been your greatest lessons this week as far as leadership in Kenya is concerned? Anybody, just chime in, share your part, and we can spend, say, the next 5 minutes looking at that before we dive into today's agenda. Anyone? Just feel free to unmute and dive right in. Sylvester, I see you are on.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, evening.
Winning from Kipi County. We'll talk about the greatest lessons this week as far as our leadership in one thing notable is people are
Sylvester, do you want to
now
move
well
closer to
informed.
your mic? Because we can't hear you. I can't hear you loudly, but you could move closer to your mic though.
Okay, I'm saying
Yeah.
it is very clear now that people are so much informed about the leadership and they really understand what is happening currently and what is supposed to be happening. They are reading in between the lines. They are able to see when things are going wrong and when things are going right. But one thing I am understanding is that they still have the fear of you know what best to do, but where and when to do it has been the greatest challenge. There is no good support in terms of leadership because you make a decision that is right based on your understanding and the constitutional provisions, but the same constitution is being um, it's being mutilated day by day. So you work within the mandate of the constitution, but those who are in leadership are not able to support what has been provided in the constitution. They just bend the rules day by day. So that is what I have seen in terms of leadership by end of this week, possibly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sylvester, for that. People know exactly what we actually need to do, and probably the leaders we have are not implementing that, of which they can actually implement. Who else is going? What has been your greatest lesson this week? Anybody, just feel free to unmute and then we can dive right in. For the meantime, as purely as we said, for this 17 million campaign, 17 million strong Kenya campaign, some of the things we are probably, what we are not. Sylvester, I don't know if you have checked on what we are not and picked one of your favorite cards. If you did, please do jump on and tell us which one do you like and what do you think we should add in relation to what you think we are not.
Maybe come up again.
So the question is, you remember we have a number of cards. I think there are 35 cards that are stating who we are not. One of them is we are not leaderless, we are not confused, and we are not analog, for example. Among all those cards, which one resonates with you? Or what do you think we should add in relation to as a movement or as a campaign? What do you think we should add that we are not or we should not be?
Maybe you give me like few minutes, then I'll respond.
No worries. Anyone else?
I'm here.
Oh, Pauline, go for it.
I think my favorite is the one I shared that the 17 million campaign, we are not affiliated to any political party, neither are we a political movement. And I think it's going to hold a lot of water in terms of pitching these campaign objectives to youths, because their worry is when you are onboarding them in this campaign, their first question is, I hope it is not linked to any political party. I hope you're not doing this on behalf of any politician. And it's good that we have that as a baseline, that we're not affiliated to any political party, to offer a neutral ground to onboard the youths in our conversation, and not divide ourselves in terms of political parties or ethnic background. So as not being affiliated to any political party has been so far my favorite amongst the 35 cars that were actually composed.
All right. That is interesting one. And just to echo what you have stated, definitely, we are not going to be affiliated to any political party. Our members or members of a 17 million strong, you are free to be in any political party if you like. But when you get into 17 million strong campaign Kenya, here we don't discuss parties. We want to discuss issues and how we can formulate projects or activities to address those issues. Rita or Justin, what do you guys have to say in relation to who we are not? Which card do you pick and why? But as that, okay, somebody going on, carry on then, Justin.
Okay, thanks, Peter. I totally agree with what you have said, and Pauline, that we are not affiliated to any political party or any person in Kenya. The good thing with this movement is that what are these things that we need to see, and who are these people who can help us to achieve our goals as youths and Kenyans? So I'm really happy that this movement is not political, it's a non-partisan thing, which is bringing across all youths to understand, why do I go after every 5 years to go and vote? What's the main reason behind? Is it that it's constitutional, that's why I go? Or is it I'm forced to go and vote? The moment we understand the reason why we go after every 5 years to vote for someone, I think that's one of the best things which can happen in Kenya, and we can get now good leaders from there.
Yeah, good one. So just to add, the other one for me, probably I might have stated my favorite, which is we are not leaderless. And that's why you co-founders, you are on here. And as we build along, the leaders will emerge for this number of reasons. Sylvester, probably you are coming back with your favorite, what we are not. And if you see anything you guys feel like we should not add there, please do feel free to let us know and we shall add them on the card. Sylvester, do you want to add anything else?
Maybe I would add that we are not expecting any material gain out of this campaign. Like no in terms of payment, we are just doing it voluntarily to help our youth.
Yes, that is other card which says no one is paying us to do this. But to clarify on that, maybe Pauline, Justin, you could add on this one. At the end of the day, we want to build a movement that can support members, probably earn a living. And how that might look, it might be, now look at the county chapters that are coming up. Think of them thinking of an initiative and mobilizing their local resources and their own members to support such initiatives. So in a way, there is a gaining in one way or another. Or look at it, a member might come and a member is interested in leadership. Imagine if Justin, Pauline, or Rita is experienced leader, could get a mentor, a coach, or even link them to other opportunities. So there is a lot of benefits to this movement that is in it, and I know it is in one of the agendas. So I will say there is a lot of it. It might not just be monetary, but there is so much that we can gain. So probably now looking at the screen, again, what is there? What can happen if 17 million young people unite for the betterment of their country? Just think around that. And we are starting something that if Pauline succeeds, Justin succeeds, Sylvester succeeds, and Rita succeeds, then we can be progressing as a team. And that is what we are building. So we will gain in different ways, not only in monetary gains, if you guys see what I mean. But somebody is free to chime on before we get onto the next one. Just to add on that particular element of it.
Yes, allow me to add on it. I've been getting that question that what is in for me as a youth if I'm to join this campaign. And let me just put it widely that there is honestly a lot of power in being associated to something. It could be and in this case, being associated with a movement that resonates with the generational needs and aspiration. And as you've talked about it, I'm seeing a future in this campaign where if we'll have the target membership per county, amongst those youths, there are people who have access to different education level, there are people who have different skills, there are people who have different ambitions. So it will be very easy for you, assuming we even want to, we'll have I'm actually onboarding even campus student leaders. And we've seen the political culture in Kenya, where we've had people who actually transitioned from colleges as student leaders, and now they're in political leadership positions. So you can imagine the power you will have to have a structured community around you. So it may not necessarily be monetary per se, but there's power in associating and having a backup. I'm also looking at it in terms of us having a group of people who are able to differently in terms of skill acquisition. I don't see us in future looking outside to look for people. Assuming, for example, Justin has got a link that we need someone who's genuinely good in IT or someone good in data science. We'll not start looking outside the scope. Amongst 1,000, amongst 2,000, I know we will always have different people with different skills. So I believe this movement is there to empower us, not just to gain knowledge in terms of the political culture in Kenya and how we can impact policy formulation in Kenya, but it will also expose us to economic opportunities, most generated by ourselves or generated courtesy of the partnerships that we'll have in future with other stakeholders.
Yes, Pauline, and I think that is really, really critical. So we won't lie to people out there that we are just doing this for the sake of doing it. We have, and on one of the cards, it says that we are not visionless. We know exactly what is in it for us and what we want members to get. An example would be, imagine a county gets the 21 members, and you guys are doing this voluntarily. And you approach IEBC and within the constituency and say, now see what we are doing in terms of voter education, mobilization, and training. How could we support the work that you are doing? And imagine that group of 20 people working with the IEBC to educate and them getting paid to do that. So you are finding deeply passionate people who are already doing something to help you do it. So this could be an opportunity for us to build partnerships, promote civic engagement in the county. I'm glad, Pauline, you brought that. So we want to just make that really, really clear. One of us might even learn about a job opportunity somewhere, and then you refer a friend and just say, hey, Justin, there is an opportunity right here. Somebody to add on that in the next 2 minutes if you guys have any.
Allow me just to back up your statement. Recently, there is actually a shift globally, not just in Kenya. There's actually a shift towards youth initiatives. So if we are going to, if we will be able, and I know it is very possible, if we be able to actually get the statistical value and the structure in this campaign, there is so much out here. There's so much in Kenya, because there's actually the same way there's been a global shift to AI. There is, in the same way, there is a shift to youth initiatives. Whether you're championing for youth political participation, be it climate change, be it human rights, in all aspects, there's going to be a shift. There's already existing shift globally, and nationally, I know there's going to be a shift to focus on youth initiatives. So by that time, by the time the wave is coming, we will already have the movement on board. The same way right now, AI has now taken over globally. Now everyone wants to learn about AI. So it will be much safer for us, or more beneficial for us, when we'll be getting partnerships and the stakeholders interested in youth initiative programs, and we already have it running. So the future is bright. I say it in Swahili, mbele kuzuri, mbele kuzuri. The vision and the future I'm envisioning for this campaign is extremely broad.
There we have it. Exciting. So again,
Okay,
that
let me add something, Peter, before we go
go for
into
it.
the next
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Another thing I see from this community or this movement is that we can get individuals who can go and transform their communities and societies. When I say transform, I mean like an individual here can go and change the people, the millennials, the Gen X, and baby boomers in their communities who normally vote once they have received an handout. Like, you give me something, I vote for you. Now we want to get individuals from this community who can go and change that narrative, that we don't vote for money. No, we vote for ideologies. An individual who will go and make policies which are going to transform these communities. The moment now we get these individuals who can go and educate their communities, I believe the movement could have achieved its objective.
Yeah, and I think that is very, very exciting, Justin. Now look at what we have. Now we have 41 counties represented. We are only left with 6 counties that don't have a representative yet. And since we started this campaign, 208 members have signed up, and we have not even pushed it so hard. And our aim or target this week was to hit, say, 235, and we have 208 members. And I can tell you this for a fact. This movement, for example, it is going to be an exciting one, because we are not only mobilizing people to go and vote, we are not only mobilizing people to come and talk politics. We want actually to work on an agenda that will get young people to get jobs, start their businesses, earn income, and contribute towards the real issues that affect us. So now we could now jump on to a little bit what is in this campaign for members, and I think some of us might have just touch on it. Now let us dive a little bit deeper for the next 5 to 6 minutes, where now we get into the real stuff. Why do you think this campaign is, what do you think is in this campaign for you? Anybody, feel free to just, you as an individual, you looking at it, what do you think is in it for you? Because we want people out there not to just sign up for things. And when people come and ask us, what is in this campaign for me? First, they have to know what they want. And we are not going to be telling people what is in it for them. Somebody just needs to know what they want first. And once they know what they want, then they look at the objectives of the campaign, and then they can be like, I see myself in this. So what do you think is in this campaign specifically for you? And this time you can speak to yourself. And then I will also probably share what I think is in it for me. So we keep that open. And anybody who watches this, first, they have to define what they want and not just come to things that they think they should just be coming. So what is in it for you, my friends?
Allow me to go first. That is actually a good question, and it's good that you've actually brought it down to an individual. And that is why when we're actually sharing word about this campaign, we actually share the link to what the campaign entails and the objectives of the campaign. And so that someone goes through the objectives of the campaign and be able to tell if the campaign meets either her passion or his passion or his interest or her interest. So for me, when I was shared, when the link to this campaign was actually shared to me, it got me along the way already doing advocacy on voter registration. So it was formulated at the right time. If you are to check my LinkedIn page, you'll actually realize that there's actually a systematic flow in terms of objective alignment to whatever the campaign was doing. Number two, I felt it is aligning also on my end because I've always wanted to have a forum or to be part of a movement that is that onboards youth. It is easier to of the same or closely understand issues that affect us, able to talk to people.
All right. Pauline was still just telling us a bit about what is in it for her as an individual. Who else wants to come? And this is the conversation we really need to get to people who are just joining this stuff. So who else want to go? What do you think is in it for you? Pauline will come back to you shortly. Either Maureen, Rita, Sylvester, Justin, and many others. What is in this campaign for you, specifically to you as an individual?
Apologies, I was locked out.
Yeah, we'll come back to you shortly. Maureen, carry on.
On my end, I feel fully my responsibility. It's to ensure that my voter, the youth, between my age bracket, and it starts with where I'm living, that they are aware of the roles of these people and what they are supposed to do. And because at the end of the day, even in the Bible, it says, due to lack of, the people perish because of lack of knowledge. So at the end of the day, it starts with me. It starts with the person next to me moving forward. And you don't have to push it like it's you're trying to choke on people's throats, but gradually with facts, and then they'll understand. And then those people, they end up being your ambassadors to share the knowledge and to share the roles and to educate the rest of the people. And also maybe you can start with your own parents, maybe your relatives, just a normal conversation. It's not like you're summoning them to tell them these are their roles, these are their responsibilities, and this is what they're supposed to do. So that when they elect, they make the right decision suited according to the roles that they want to give that person as they vote. Thank you.
And Maureen, you bring really, really good one. We don't want to be pushing people or like meeting is here and there. And it is just, we want to do it out of fun and just enjoy doing it. And I think that is key because people actually know and they are like actually fatigued about this election stuff and they know what will happen if their vote is stolen and things. But pushing it slowly by winning people's trust. And that's why we say we don't belong to any political party. No one is paying us to do all this stuff. That's why we won't even attract the masses to join this call, because you realize even other calls, people get paid to join the call so that they get the numbers and they use those numbers to get the handouts. We are not that. We are like a really, really small committed team looking to just drive the impact in our own small ways. Sylvester, come on before we either Rita, Justin, or we go back to Pauline and wind up that part. What is in it for you?
Personally, I feel there's a lot that needs to be given to the youth in terms of advocacy and creating awareness. We sensitize them, and especially on the information which is here on the screen, getting them to understand this is more simplified, that 1882 elected individuals controlling 57 million. This is exactly what they need to know. Like, we
get closer to your
awareness.
mic, Sylvester. Get closer to your mic.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, now
I'm saying
increase your voice.
yes,
yeah,
exactly. So I'm saying, if the youth get to understand that just less than 2,000 members of this community of Kenya are being are being there to control millions of people, 57 million people, that if they get this information, which has been summarized here on the screen, this will be a good information. So I have that responsibility of creating awareness and making them understand why are we talking about the 17 million strong campaign, why we need to have the youth on board, because they have the good numbers that can change the narratives of our politics in Kenya. So creating awareness, advocacy, sensitizing them continuously, I know we will be somewhere. This is very good information that we can share with them. Thank you.
There we go. Appreciate you, Sylvester. Who else? Pauline, you did not finish, I think.
Yes, let me just clear out. This movement is also beneficial because we have a big group of enlightened and youths who are actually interested in the national affairs. Politically, economically, they're following up on bills, they're following up on policies. So the few that will be onboarded in this campaign, just like our teammate has mentioned, they will actually be brand ambassadors and spread the gospel, and also offer more knowledge in terms of the government structures, the elective positions, and their mandate, and how the elected members actually impact how the nation is run, and how that translates to how youths are empowered in our country, economically, socially, and politically.
Right. Someone else, because this is really critical. Justin or Rita, you might want to jump on. What do you think is in it for you as an individual?
Okay, as for me, Peter, I remember before this movement or campaign started, I told you that 2022 was my last time going to elections to vote for someone. But after a discussion with you and some few friends of mine, now I changed my mind. So I believe what is in this movement for me is understanding, why do I go to vote after every 5 years? What is it that I'm going to achieve after voting for the election? The moment I get to understand, I think that's a very good thing for me, not only for me, and for some of my friends who believe that 2022 was their final voting. Yeah.
Good one, Justin. And I think that is, I spoke to many other people, and I was in a matatu, I was in somewhere, but then I ask any young person I meet, oh, umechukua kura? No, I'm not taking. And then I get into a conversation, and then nearly most young people are like fatigued. But once you speak to them, even look at the community where we are now, people now are like really motivated to go and get their votes. And that is now the conversation we are looking to have. So for me, sitting on this other side, what is in it for me? I know I lead an organization that aims to get young people out of poverty, either by linking them to the job opportunities or supporting them in turning their passions into an enterprise. We cannot do this in isolation. We need partnership. we need collaboration, and we need resources to do that. And rather than complaining every year or day in and day out that XYZ should come and give us stuff or give us things or give us the money, how about us coming together to share the resources that we have so that we can uplift each other up? So me doing that and just having fun while pushing an agenda of civic engagement makes me feel like, oh, I'm making an impact. So in a way, this is helping me and working with you to help get young people to actually learn that by participating in civic engagement or civic activities and coming together, we can actually solve our problems alone, like by ourselves. And once we solve that, we will be able to get some results or information to go out and tell other people that, look, what we've done as young people. Would you like to come and join us and even support us? Would you help us probably shape policy XYZ? Would you help us or help this youth group initiate this particular initiative that can help them actually earn income and get out of poverty? So for me, I find this really, really home, and using my network and spreading the word to provide that education and space for people to come and share. I feel that is something that makes me want to be more involved into this campaign. Anyone else with anything before we jump on to this other part? Rita, maybe we haven't heard from you on that. But what is up on the screen? Yeah, carry on.
On my end, whereby you talked about in terms of how to engage a conversation, what I normally encounter, it's good to know your personality at a personal level. If you know at this point, if you know maybe you're sanguine, or maybe you're free with people, or maybe your energy levels are good, you can just start a topic out of nowhere. But now, how you in between bring your points matter. So now maybe the way you see these memes, they normally say when you just in a matatu next to someone next to you, you're like, hey, nice serikali. Okay, just by the way. But that's not what I mean. But at the end of the day, you get to listen to someone's views, and then you'll have a conversation. By the end of that trip, if it's a long distance journey, you'll have interacted that person and impacted that person and shared the knowledge. That's my take on that point. Just to add on what you have said, because maybe some might find it difficult when it comes to how do I start? Where do I start? How do I start talking to this person? How do I start to influence this person? Maybe you use your own ways. You don't have to be a crowd, but one or two in every step, it make an impact in someone. Now, as part of how you vote and how you elect someone. Yeah, thank you.
I think, Maureen, that is really, really important. Like you see, just to again echo on what you are saying there, you approach them just like with something like a joke, just like you stated. And just like, by the way, guys, IEBC wanatulazimisha tena tuchukue vote na vote zetu pia hazita count. What do you think? Ako ndani. So you must find ways that work for your tribe. And once you find that, you will strike a conversation. Either you can do with football or people who love, I know, Pauline, you are keen on like on civic engagement. You start with something that will light them up. And once they are lighted, then you understand their point of view. And once you get that, then it is easier to get them to if you guys see what I mean. So let us transition onto this one. What do you want us to be as a movement? On the screen, I think it is there like we got. We want a peaceful Kenya, to be honest. We want to help young people achieve their dreams. And we just want to see change happen in Kenya. Now, we know who we are not. If you are just to highlight some of the key values. And I think this is key, and this is an area we need to build with co-founders and members within these particular counties. Who do you want to be as a movement, as a 17 million campaign? That is still a blank page, which we will be making in the progress. And let us hear from you guys. How would you, or what would you envision this movement to look like? I know we got co-founders in here and you members. Your thoughts?
Okay, let me go first. One thing which I pray for and I envision for this movement may it not be used by politicians. Many times you find out that when politicians see something which is growing, they come and use that movement as a tool for them to gain political power. I pray that anytime, yes, we may invite them at one point, but they come here, they discuss with us what is it, what they are for us, what they can do for us, instead of using this as a money, giving out money to buy the youth from this movement. Let them come discuss, we ask questions and the answer. Yeah.
Justin, that is important. Why? Politics, and I'm not condemning politics. I do like politics. But how do we use it positively? Pauline, I see you are putting something on the chat. But to add on what Justin have said, even our members will be political leaders or political aspirants. We don't condemn them, but we want to have a structure to that. How can we do our leadership in a more professional, in a more civilized, in a more inclusive manner that is impactful? Pauline or Maureen or Sylvester or Rita, chime in.
Yes, just to support Justin's statement, I'm looking forward to the long term that this movement actually maintains its autonomy, because as you've said, in future we'll have stakeholders partnering in this movement. We'll have political leaders or aspirants being interested in this movement, and at the end of the day, there will be a form of collaboration. This campaign will not just be for us. We'll have to onboard stakeholders, we'll have to onboard partners, and for us to get answers in terms of policies that are being formed and how youths will benefit from them, we'll actually need to actually talk to the policy makers. Who are the politicians? So and that is why from the initial stages, I'm seeing as a team, we actually trying to put up a stable structure that will not be shaken up as we get towards future endeavors in terms of stakeholder engagement and partnership, and also onboarding the policymakers to get limelight and direction in terms of how we are moving and addressing the grievances that face youth. So yes, I'm hard on us maintaining our autonomy and the objectives, even as we transition and expand this forum to other partners.
Okay. Maureen, Rita, and Sylvester, what are your thoughts? What do you see? What do you see in this movement?
On my end, what I see is that as long as we stick to objectives and we move forward with facts and we work as a team, it will be okay. But on another end, how we handle our challenges, mostly at times in a situation, maybe for example, I'm just saying for example, whereby you have to train someone and these people on the ground, it's not the first time I've done it. So at times they're like, if you call them for a meeting, they expect it's a meeting whereby you sit, maybe you order a cup of tea. I'm just saying, I don't know how you're going to prepare yourself for that, because when it comes 2026, and that's a reality, that's a fact. This, as long as you just go, yani unaweza enda wa mtu unamwambia tu kitu ako like that's a politician, huyo ni mtu ametumwa, you see. But at the end of the day, I'm not dishing out money, but it's a way of just telling people, unaweza ambia, Morio, come, leo tukakunywe chai tukae. At the end of the day, they were like, so you're the one who called us. So also those are some of the logistics, but I'm not saying if you're not okay on that end, I don't know, because next year it's 2026. And maybe you might face that challenge. But at the end of the day, the main objective is, as long as we stick to our objectives, our core values, and when you talk to someone, you try to tell them, show them that for us, this is our fact. This is what is our roles. So at the end of the day, maybe inaweza kusaidia, but tunaingia in a political event for 2027, it might be a bit it's a bit shaky, you never know. So also on our end, as much as we're trying to teach them, we are trying to empower them, we are trying to show them that this is what you're supposed to do. We need also someone who's going to we need something for logistics. When you go to this place, are we sure of our own safety as well? Maybe let's say when you go to this place, maybe you can decide, let's take this person to this place, but at the end of the day, you can ship that person to another place for his or her own security. Because you're entering in an year like the 2026 next year. So that's on my end. I don't know what's your view as the top leadership for us. Thank you. That's all. I'm sorry if maybe I'm out of order. Thank you.
No, Morindo, you are very much in order, and that is really, really valid. But what we want to really anchor it, but say we are self-sponsored. For example, tukienda kwa hoteli fulani mahali jamaa kamna kachuani hapo, and then as we build along, if you look at what Pauline shared, there is opportunities out there where now, because we have a host, we could be working with these partners to mobilize like resources to fund like really outreach. And to anchor what you've stated, you are not out of order. We want to capitalize on the digital space that people are not using. You see, if people go to Twitter or X or Facebook, it is not like our one. You see, our one is solid. You see people and you talk to people. And those for Twitter or X or things, they are like, you can't achieve even so much. But ours, we will even be having sessions, training sessions for our members, where we can bring experts to talk to us. We could earn certificates. We could do a lot of stuff. And that's why on one of the cards, we say we are not analog. So first we want to get them online and just anchor on the online. And then county members, if they want to meet physically, they make arrangements and then they just build on that one. Anyone who wants to add on that? On the movement that we actually want. For me, I see a movement where groups can come together and just say, guys, an example, look at, you are looking for an application somewhere where you are applying for a grant for 100,000. How much paperwork do you actually need to get that 100,000? And at the end of the day, you are told that your application was not successful. How about you guys just coming together? One of you, maybe you are working on agricultural project. One of you has land. One of you have cows who can plow. One of you who have a friend who can afford seedlings. One of you have a slasher that you can use. How can we pool our resources together to pull something that can bring us a project together. Implement that and then invite people to see what you have done. A movement where we don't rely on handouts from anybody. You go to your community and just say, guys, this is what we've done. Can you give us advice? Can you guide us? Can you link us to a person who have done something similar so we can learn from them and grow? For me, that will be impactful. Can we say that we are going to do something and we actually go and do it? That is, for me, a movement I envision. And I just think if we can unite, it is very much possible. Anyone else add anything before we move on to the next one, as we almost come to the end of this segment today? With that then said, now you are looking at a structure of a leadership that will make us, obviously that is work in progress. Co-founders, you guys will work on that and you will be building on what exactly do we want to see as a movement? How do we want to take this one forward? And again, that is a conversation that will involve members. So look at the Kenyan structure. We got wards, we got constituencies, we got counties, and then we got the national level. So if you look at all this and you are asked, in terms of leadership, what do you envision as a structure that might help us achieve what we want to achieve? Because the president unites us. At the end of the day, all young people will vote that president. What structure do you see within this movement that co-founders can now go and start thinking on paper? But now, this is an envisioned structure from the ward to the national stage.
I can put an input to that.
Yes, go for it.
I think so far, we've already dealt with the co-founders bit as at now, and we are looking forward to getting the specified numbers to form the county forums. On my end, I've been thinking about that the county forums, as we onboard people, we try and diversify membership in terms of constituencies in the respective counties. So that you're not, for example, you're not, if a county has nine constituencies or 10 constituencies, it will be better if we diversify the membership, that at least every constituency has a member. I think once the forums for specific counties, the leaders of those counties, part of their first mandate should be to ensure that there's a balance in terms of representations. Because if it is easier for a county representative to mobilize the people and to check out the membership, if he's able to verify if there's a balance in terms of constituency membership. Later on, we can go down to ward, but at the onset, it is better off if the county forums, as at 21 members, or at 21 to 30, will have a balanced representation across all constituencies in the respective.
All right, yeah. So Pauline, what you are saying, we aim for 20, like balance, and just move across constituencies, probably look at if we have few in ward. So we have that diversity.
Yes.
All right. Someone else, what structure do you guys see? What I pick from Pauline is like the county. So what we are forming is like county forums. Where, like, let's say if we want to partner with a county in Wajir or Lamu, there is a project going on, we link that team up to that particular partner or that particular group that wants really, really serious young people who already know what they're doing. So yeah, good one. Who else got something? And this is again a topic we will have with the county, like county forum leaders, once we set the leadership structures and you co-founders start thinking around that line as well. So anyone else who wants to add, what do you see as a structure? This brings me back to when we started and we said 18 to 34 years are young people in Kenya. Meaning if all these people get their voters card and they show up and vote, they can either be the president or they can decide who becomes the president. And once they decide that, they can be listened to in terms of policies, in terms of their issues, in terms of driving the change that they do want. So looking at all that structure, what unites all of us is the presidency. How then do we consolidate our numbers and speak as a voice rather than staying disunited, staying all over the place, and actually not getting what we want? There is now where our strength lies. Not to fight anyone, not to call people names, but to start by knowing what we want and forming collaborations with those who can support us in getting what we want. If you guys see what I mean. Anything else that you guys think? Maureen, Rita, or again, Sylvester, what do you think as a structure? I pick the county forums from Pauline, which is really, really solid. Anything else that you guys want to highlight?
Personally, I tend to think and to echo what one of us has said about creating those other forums. We increase the number of representation in terms of the maybe in the wards and in the constituency, that we have some more representation. I know if we have members, some of our colleagues who are in the counties, not county, in the wards and the constituencies, because we have so many other political forums that are happening around, and I know most of them are filled up with youth. We will be able to pick from there, and I know there's those who are always willing to spread the gospel. Like once you engage, like maybe in every ward you engage like within their county villages, that you have a representative for the county village. From there, we'll be able to build a strong base, moving to the county, to the wards, to the constituency, and to the counties. It will be a great achievement for us towards a national level. I think that would be one of the best we can do, because every ward has a different ward villages, county villages. Yeah.
All right. Yes. And I think that will be work in progress. So we aim to get our consolidated counties for county forums. And once that is solid, then members could be growing their membership, just like we said, getting their membership to 1,000. That can be work in progress. So good insights there as we scale up. But obviously, we'll always start small. And just like from our previous slide, imagine less than 2,000 people controlling 57 million. And you being here in this room today, we have 15 or 10 members every single meeting. We might not just do them every weekend, but I tell you, if you have 2 people or 3 people who are committed, there is so much that we can do to drive that change. Unless anyone has got something else to add on there, but this is the statistics out there. The IEBC is looking to get 6.3 million new voters as registration opens. So to anchor it on and make it like get the IEBC probably to collaborate, how then do you think we could support this? Your thoughts? Because like, let's say after 30th, now we need to continue with the campaign, now getting those who have signed up, because I know they will again reopen voter registration. As members, that's why we have 3 hashtags. 1, chukua kura. 2, niko kwa register, meaning wewe ushachukua vote yako. And then debe ndio solution. So the campaign is in one phase, like 3 phases, for example. First, get people who have not registered as voters to register, and then get people who have registered to verify their votes. And then final stage will be the Bendio solution. So meaning they have to go and vote. What are your thoughts on this? How do we support IEBC in recruiting 6.3 million new voters in Kenya?
I can contribute to that.
Yes.
Initially, it's good
I'm
that we
not
have
sure
a forum that is actually open to sharing ideas
Pauline,
and
Pauline, you are breaking. I
through
think your
sharing the
internet.
ideas, forum that is open to sharing ideas. And can you hear me now?
Yes, carry on. Yeah.
I was saying we have shared a few ideas on our forum that will actually be workable in terms of supporting IEBC in their recruitment. The 6.3 million target is actually for the new voters. Who are the new voters in Kenya? A majority are the 18-year-olds, 19-year-old people who have just acquired their IDs in the recent days. And the majority of them are actually in campus as first years, in polytechnics, in colleges, in training institutes. And that's why if we're able to actually do the campus or institutional drive through just the webinars and the Zoom sessions and inform them about this campaign and the essence of voting and the purpose of voter registration, when it will be open, I think if we're able to implement the institutional or campus drive amongst the youths who are actually the target population for IEBC, will aid them in meeting their numbers. So I know the institutional or campus drive will actually be major in terms of pushing the objective.
I think that is interesting. So what you are proposing, Pauline, is we have like virtual campus drive voter mobilization.
Yes.
I'm just trying to write that one, virtual campus voter mobilization drive. So we're like, so maybe you could start thinking around that, and probably like now where we are getting on after like 30th. No, we could do, yes, we could do even after 30th. Probably for the next one, we could plan a forum and call it, for example, you give it a name, and then we can try spread that around and get people to sign up.
Yes, I'm already doing something in line with that. I'll just be able to update you after the end of the session.
No problem. You keep us posted because we can provide Zoom, and now that could be purely focused and not detailed like this, because there is now like we design a program where like we get
Yes.
them to engage on what is in it for them as voters, not like as detailed as we are talking.
Yes,
So,
not as detailed. Yes.
yes. So then there you come like Pauline, you deliver a session, Sylvester, you deliver a session, Maureen also. So we make it like
Yes.
even it is 45 minutes, but purely
Yes.
impactful and purely getting people to probably join and probably to shift their mindset towards
Yes.
what is already existing. So I think around that, and let us know if you do need this Zoom and all this support and stuff, then we get you on that one. So good one. So we do campus drives.
Yeah.
Maureen, what do you have to say? Any idea before we get to the last one?
On the drives, also there's something I've realized because I'm from Meru County actually, and Meru County we share in terms of Tharaka Nithi, and mostly I'm also engaged in terms of Embu County. Now the thing is, what I've realized is there are youth groups. They are okay, I'm sorry, I'm so much into youth because that's my age bracket. There are youth groups whereby you find that then they are in the inner parties like okay, let me nitumie ingine, unapata ni ile design kama ni church, there's a group, if maybe something there's a group. Now, where the youth wamefika, I'm sorry to say this, it's like they are now learning how to empower themselves. So now they're coming up with projects, they're doing it for themselves. That's another thing. So now, eka mama mboga kando kidogo na boda, whereby we team up, me and you, we encompass. It's okay. But at the end of the day, we're giving ourselves employment. I hope mnagege anasema. We're giving ourselves opportunity. So at the end of the day, we are a team. You see, at the end of the day, we are a team, yes. We are tired of being raising kupewa funds za kuchanga mchango ya raise funds. So we come as a team. And mostly for these teams na these groups, whatever they decide, mostly they influence each other. So at the end of the day, if you speak to each other, now you have a common understanding, trust me what I know na in terms of loyalty na hizo zote, borake you don't lie na usitake kuwa mlafi ama maybe greedy or maybe or something. At the end of the day, you will have impacted someone, you see, and something. So at the end of the day, there are new techniques zinakuja, and if you're not active on the ground, utajua. So in terms of, so right now they're not waiting for handout. That's why I'm saying, as much as people might see Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and maybe Gen Zillennials, let's say Zillennials, half of hapa katikati na millennials, partly it's like they're like, let me do my part. At the end of the day, even if wenye wako hapo they don't assist me, at the end of the day, I have done my part on assisting myself. So they are not lazy. So when you go to approach them, make sure you approach them on an, I don't know how to explain it, because for them, they're not expecting handouts. Okay, you'll give them handouts, but at the end of the day, they're going to decide for themselves. So as we approach them, I'm not going to say it's easier for us, but they'll really scrutinize you and umetoka wapi, nini, anything, they're just done with you. So in terms of the other thing, they're already trying to work on themselves. So the groupings, we need to look on them on mobilization, and also for churches kinda the youth mbona wanatoka. I don't know why, but I need assistance on that. But on my understanding, they're like, I would rather, yes, I believe in God, but the after sessions, not there. So another thing is, I've realized they're taking up spaces in terms of mobilizing for themselves on helping. They would rather, themselves, yani wajitole wao wenyewe, they do it. So partly, if you get to know these forums and get to know these groups, uingie kwa hizo za usaidia in terms of charity or something, it might look ridiculous online, but on ground, there's an impact. They're like, you guys are unable to change someone, but at the end of the day, we did it. What's different? So at the end of the day, if you go with that narrative, sorry, but it's not taking advantage, but at the end of the day, you go there, you tell them, because at the end of the day, na align, na values, na morals. You're like, hey, you're right, you guys, you're doing it for yourself. So now you get an opportunity to teach them more. Because maybe wakosi hapo wako like, in every crowd, sorry, not a mad woman, mad man, but at the end of the day, there's someone ajui in details and a move na crowd. But when you teach them, they know something. So that's my take on, just to top up on what you guys have said. Thank you.
I think that is insightful. And what makes us unique, I know, Pauline, you are coming on. We are not coming here to just like, we know clearly what we are looking to do. And we are saying that this movement, it is not for everybody. And what Maureen is saying is, people are no longer looking for handouts. They are now shifting their minds and saying, how can I do something that is long term, something that can benefit me for the long term? Either I'm getting skills and I'm not being used. And once people know that, and we tap onto these communities like churches, mosques, communities that are already working on something and getting frustrated, not getting support, by them being part of this community means they can get at least a group that aligns with the work they are doing. And that what we are doing is, and where we are coming from, I think we have a huge potential to drive that. Not sure who else want to add on that before we just come to the end in 2 or 3 minutes, as we look at the campaign plan and what we are aiming to achieve in the next, before the registration closes. So we will have enough numbers now to go and mobilize membership from various counties. Anyone who wants to add on anything that we've spoken about today, from what we want to be, who we are not, the leadership structure, and how we help IEBC achieve their new target of 6.3 new voter registration. And now, how do we get through the community of 17 million strong?
Okay, I am concerned about the initiative of reaching doing the campus and college mobilization. I have one concern. I know there are so many out there who have not registered, but another thing that has been hindering and blocking them from maybe registering, it's an issue to do with the ID cards. These guys are just in the offices. They are not doing like door to door or even reaching youth wherever they are. So you see, there are some youth even who are now in Form 4 and they have not even applied for the IDs because they are waiting for, they go out of the college, of the school, then they go and now start doing the IDs. So are we in a position to maybe influence in terms of how those guys can reach majority of the youth who are already at that age of 18 years and above, so that they can increase the number of ID card acquisition, so that they can also, as you talk to them, because like in some of the forums where we have them playing like football and the like, you talk about then they tell you kupata ID siku hizi imekuwa ni ngumu, and you know it is payable. So that is another thing that you find them, they are within the age bracket to vote, but they do not have the IDs to acquire the registration of the voters. So I don't know if we are in a position to make some suggestion, if not now, maybe in the near future.
Yes, I think that one based on the time now, because looking forward, we want to be making this session strictly 1 hour, so that like we respect a bit of time and we are like objective and straight up. So I'm glad you brought that up. So we can pick that up at some point, but I'm glad you bring it up. Pauline or Maureen, you are parting shots.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a good engagement. I know I'm logging out, but there's so much I've picked from what my colleagues have shared, and I'm looking forward to us reaching our milestone and even surpassing. So thank you so much for everyone that tuned in today. Let us keep the forum running and the campaign moving forward. Thank you, and have a blessed night.
You too. Maureen, what do you have? Your parting shot.
First of all, thank you to the organizers. This was an interactive forum. And moving forward, sorry for my background noise, but it's due to an unavoidable circumstance. But however, it was an interactive session and we're heading towards the right direction. At the end of the day, we are a team and let's soldier on, move forward, and we will make an impact and we'll achieve our goals and we'll achieve what we stick to and plan to. Above all, God is put God first, maybe in Islam, Christianity, whichever religion. At the end of the day, we plan, but at the end of the day, God decides for us. And I don't want to seem religious, but I pray at a personal level. I'm just saying at a personal level, once you do the right thing and you don't expect anyone to just clap, at the end of the day, you know that you've done the right thing at the right time, at the right place. That's it. Thank you.
There
Good
we
night.
go. You too. So we say thank you. Spread the word. Let's grow 17 million strong campaign. We got what it takes. It always have to start with one person. That person gets the second person. It gets the third person. Before we know it, my friends, we are 17 million strong. See you guys.